Hiya, so it's Michael here again. I'm going to show you how to play Folsom Prison Blues by Johnny Cash. Alright, so we're in a close-up here, and you've got to put your capo on fret 1 to make it match up with the recording. You can learn all this without the capo though, if you don't have one, okay? Now there's basically just a couple of parts in this song. We got to learn a chord progression that sounds like what would be called a 12-bar blues-esque progression, okay? So it's round and about that kind of sound if you're familiar with that kind of music. So we've got to learn a section of chords and then just a little picking lead guitar item as well. So I'm going to come back to the intro, okay? But I'm going to teach you the main part first to get you going. So here's a slow demonstration of the main part we're going to learn. So chords we need: E chord, A chord, with whatever fingers you usually do it. I am going to suggest for muting, to make your playing sound better, and for something I'm going to show you later, you might want to go with this A for today, with the 3 fingers, 2, 3 and 4, but it's up to you. And you also need everyone's favourite chord, a B7. So that's it for your chords. Now, in terms of the rhythm, if I give you in very basic, simple terms, the rhythm would be this. So in terms of downs and ups, that's down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up. Realistically, this song is in what's called 16th note rhythm. And when I do songs like this, I always refer to an old lesson I did where I explain what that actually means, in case you don't know what that means. Okay? So this is a song with 16th note rhythms. Really, what you're doing is you're essentially playing twice as much as you usually would in a bar of 8th notes, okay? But in its basic term, this is the strumming. So if you can do that, you're grand. So if you do have an understanding of 16th notes, if I was to call out the rhythm to count here, it would be 1 and 2E and 3 and 4E and 1 and a 2E and a 3 and a 4E and Okay, so we need 4 bars of E with that strumming pattern attached to it. So it'll really sound like 8 strumming patterns to your ear. This is what it would be. Okay, so there we go. So that's your first 4 bars done. Then you do 2 bars of an A chord. Back to 2 bars of E. Our favourite chord here, 2 bars of B7. And to complete the main sequence here, just do 1 further bar of E. And you can see the notation direction there says you have to then go back and repeat that a total of 5 times. So you play that main part 5 times. So I know that E to B7 can be a difficult change at times. A little tip is to leave the second finger where it is for both shapes. So a common finger to both chords, and then it means there's slightly less movement you have to do. Okay, now we've went through the various parts of the main section. I'm going to do it a bit faster now, more up to speed with the song. Okay, now that's most of the song done, which is awesome. Now then, I'll go back to a little fiddly intro for you to have a go at, and this is quite fun. So this is what it sounds like slowly. So what I'm going to tell you to visualize is that good old B7 chord. But we're only going to take the lower 3 strings of the guitar here. So your second finger usually would be there on the 2nd fret of the 5th string for a B7, and your first finger would usually be at fret 1 of the 4th string. So you'd get that little shape with finger 1 and 2. Okay, so I'm just going to encourage you to visualize that to play the individual frets here. So you're going to play that fret 2 on the A string 3 times, just with down picks. Then you're going to play the 1 on the D string twice, back to the 2 on the A string. Then one more thing, go to fret 3 on the low E string. I'm going to suggest to do this, get your big 3 fingers all in a row here. You're going to play the string at fret 3 and do what's called a string bend. Now, on my tab there, it only says you bend it a quarter. Okay, so basically I'm not going to go into too much detail of that at the minute, but you're just slightly pulling the string away from its pitch and then letting it fall back to its natural pitch. So just a little curl. And there we go. So if I was to show you how they connect the intro and the main part. And then you'd be away with your strumming. Now the last part of the song is all we've got left. You can see it's the same stuff in terms of chords and strumming, but in the last 3 bars we actually bring back the intro, that the lead part, and then just do a finish. So this is how the song would end. Okay, so this is the last 3 bars broken down for you. We're going to do one of our strumming patterns, half a bar really. Do that on your E chord. This is in bar 24 there. You do a further strum, and then you do the little lead guitar part. After the bend, one further bar like this. Okay, now for the rest of the video I'm going to show you kind of fancier ways to play this song and kind of Johnny Cash it up a bit more, okay? And you might have noticed me doing this a few times as I was demonstrating parts there. So the first thing you can do to make it sound more Johnny Cash-esque is take the initial downstroke at the start of each little strumming pattern, but only hit the lowest note in your chord. That would be called the bass note. So on your E chord, the lowest note is this low E string open. So make your initial downstroke just play that string. And this is called brush strumming. So we're making that initial down nice and loud, but you're doing the rest of the strumming pattern a little bit more gently, and you're also focusing more on the higher strings, okay? So you might not even be playing string 4 or 5 exactly sometimes, but that's part of the sound, and that's okay. Okay, and it gets a bit ragged at times, okay? You have to practice this quite a lot, but you can hear straight away it's got that really cool, fast Johnny Cash sound. So if you were to apply that to the A chord, the reason I like this A is because I've got a way to mute the low E with my thumb in this case, in case I accidentally hit that when I'm trying this brush strumming. So that's just why I do that. You could do it this way, but it's a little bit more uncomfortable for me. You know, I might not get it totally clear that way. So that's just a suggestion there. Then on your B7 chord, you're also not playing the low E string. And to protect it, just nudge the nail of that second finger against the low E. And then it won't mess up your cool Johnny Cash brush strumming. So now that we've talked about that, let me demonstrate the main part. I'll do it pretty fast, and I'm going to apply that brush strumming to it. So it's a lot of fun, that, and I remember when I was first learning this technique, I had to just stare intently at the picking hand all the time to just train it for what it actually had to do. So a really good way to practice this is hold down your E chord and don't even look at the shape, because you don't need that. Everything's done over here. Look over here. And you can see I'm really just doing my strumming on the skinnier strings for the most part, okay? Now one further thing you can do with the brush strumming is you can alternate the bass note. And there's loads of ways you can do this, but just for today, just alternate between the 6th string and the 5th string. Now on the A chord, you can alternate between the open A and open low E. And this is where I need the thumb to cover up the low E when it's not getting used. Okay, and then you've just got to do your best to get that up to speed. On the B7, you can do a bit of movement here to make it work with this chord. Alternate between the 5th string and then move that second finger to the 6th string 2nd fret. So it sounds a bit dissonant in isolation, but once I get it going, you know, it works. So I will attempt to try this technique on the main part, and then I'm going to finish us for today with this.